This presentation is designed to assist you in applying your knowledge of death investigation to this special situation of an infant death.
We've known each other since we were in middle school, so roughly 7th or 8th grade.
I always just thought he was a little way more wild than I was, and then when we would talk to each other and hang out, I just realized he's pretty smart and he's pretty funny himself. So.
Started hanging out a little more, and here we are. And I always said, you know, if I don't get married, I don't get married. If I don't have kids, I don't, because I was waiting for the right situation and got lucky enough to find it.
We got married when we were 30, and we are going to have our third child in September.
She was perfectly healthy. We had never taken her to the doctor other than for a scheduled visit. I don't know if we'd ever given her medicine for anything. No kid's perfect, but she was, if you could be, she was pretty close. I mean, she was very, very laid back, very easygoing, never got uptight about who wanted to hold her, and just perfectly healthy. But, I mean, there's a lot about that day that just will come to me at times, and
I don't remember a lot. I was about 11:45, and I got a call from the sheriff's department. I didn't think the worst could happen. Mainly, I think I thought she would be fine. So, as far as us moving forward, I think it's hugely important that we know what happened.
Well, there's not many professions in the world where you can do something for somebody that nobody else can do when that person is at the worst point of their life.
The whole process of investigating is really a reiteration over and over again of what is this child trying to tell me? What do I need to know in order to be able to tell this child's story? What steps must I take to be competent and ultimately to provide this child's life as counting for something in some way? And the way we do that is to work to make certain that justice is done.
And at that point in time, I feel a death investigator, if they're compassionate, if they're knowledgeable, and they're well trained, what they can do is a good scene investigation and be a good interviewer and be able to ask those questions so that those parents will eventually get the right answers as to why their child died.
The autopsy begins at the scene, and the death investigator is the only one who can identify evidence that may be present at the scene. Oftentimes, after they leave the scene is released, that information will never be found. And so the investigator has a unique opportunity to collect data and information that is essential to identify the cause and manner of death. And so the death investigator is the eyes and ears of the medical examiner or coroner, taking their place at the scene and gathering that information.
As in any death investigation, your role is to support the medical examiner or coroner in the case, helping determine the cause and manner of death. But in an infant death case, your scene investigation, your on-the-scene observations and documentation of interviews and evidence play a larger part in understanding what happened. The fragile nature of these scenes, problems with witnesses' perceptions, memory, and cooperation make your role especially important. Hi, Diane.
Oh, hi, Dr. Casey. How are you?
Good.
Good.
You working on the Jones case?
Yes, I'm looking at some of the scenes that we took, the photographs.
Mm-hmm. I wondered about whether the...
Excuse me.
Sure.
This is Diane Gonzalez. How old? 4 months, okay. Daycare? Okay. And where is it? Mason Street? All right. Where's the infant now? Okay. I'll go there first and do an external exam and photograph the infant, interview the parents, and then I'll go to the scene. Right. Okay, thanks. It's an infant death at a daycare on Mason Street.
You going to the ER first?
Yeah, then I'll head to the daycare. I'll need to do a scene recreation.
Has the doll worked well for you?
Well, I don't do a lot of these. Last time I used this was about 6 months ago. But yes, the doll lets them show me what happened rather than just tell me.
And those photos really helped me out before autopsy. Good luck. Let me know how it goes.
Thanks. See you when I get back.
Okay.
This is Diane Gonzalez. I'm headed over to the ER to start the investigation. Right. The daycare infant. Will you please have the detective meet me at the ER? Thanks for your help.
Thankfully, these cases are generally uncommon. Nationally, there are about 5,000 to 6,000 sudden unexplained infant deaths each year. Because of this, it's important to follow a standard investigative protocol in each infant death case. By doing a thorough, systematic investigation, our work leads to closure, healing, and prevention. In this case, an infant died in a home-based daycare. This makes the investigation more complex, as there are multiple scenes to investigate. In addition, there are a number of survivors, witnesses, with different relationships and possible competing interests involved.
Hey, someone's coming.
When the death scene investigator first arrives on the scene, that is the time where the investigator needs to establish a rapport with the parents or caregivers of the infant. They need to slowly move into developing a relationship with them so that that can carry through the investigation.
How are they doing?
Not good. How's the mother?
Well, as you would expect.
We'll have our detectives drive her home from the emergency room then.
Good. Hey, let's get started.
Okay, this way.
I think the first quality is that the investigator has to be empathetic.
Mrs. Baker, this is Diane Gonzalez. She's with the medical examiner's office.
I think investigators in child deaths need to be patient. They need to have a lot of empathy. They need to be observant and especially be able to think on their feet.
And then we're going to reenact the scene. I bought a doll from the department store for that. Who placed the baby down to sleep?
I did.
Okay. Who was the last person to see baby Emily alive?
That was my daughter, Jenny.
Who found the baby?
Her too.
Okay, we're going to recreate that scene also, and I'll be taking some pictures. Where was the baby found?
In the other room.
Can you show me?
Come on, honey.
I'd like you to show me exactly how you placed the baby in the crib. I'm especially interested in the position of her head, nose, and mouth, and any objects that were in the crib. And I'll be taking pictures.
Do I have to do this? What are you going to do with the pictures?
It's going to help the pathologists visualize the scene. Look, I'm not blaming you, okay? I'm not saying it's your fault. But we need to understand how the infant died. It'll help us, the family, everybody, okay?
Okay.
Here. Place my doll in exactly the same position that you placed the baby in.
I think it was like this.
You you told the EMTs that this pillow was in there like this?
That's correct. Baby was on its side like this.
And the bedding, was it thick like this?
Yes, that was it.
Thank you. Jenny, you were the last person to see the baby alive, right?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
I checked on her about a half hour before I found her. She was sleeping fine like this. Later, when I found her, she was rolled over like this.
She was face down?
Well, yeah, but she was fine before.
It's okay, Jenny. No one's blaming you for what happened here. That's all I need. Thank you.
But particularly in the case of children, there are very subtle ways that they can die that need to be specifically investigated. What we want to know is how the child was positioned in its sleeping environment at the time it was last seen alive. And then at some point later, we want to know how the child was found. Particularly in infant death scene investigations, we like to have the immediate digital photographs so that the pathologist doing the autopsy can actually see that, all of that kind of information before they do the autopsy.
I'm done here now. Baby Emily is at the medical examiner's office, and Dr. Casey will decide about an autopsy. Again, Wendy, Jenny, I'm very sorry for what happened here.
And Mrs. Baker, you have my card, so if there's anything you need, please give us a call.
A lot of suffocations, a lot of unsafe sleepings, a lot of the very subtle ways of death we will never know without a death scene investigation. In fact, in a lot of cases, the autopsy is going to be totally negative, and the only way we'll ever know why the child has died is by looking at the circumstances, by looking at the scene.
Just looking at your scene reenactment photos. Oh, you used the dowel, good.
Yeah, it worked really well.
This figures. I'm thinking suffocation. With these photos and the rest of your investigation, it'll make my job a lot easier. So thanks.
Let me know how it turns out, huh?
Will do. Advancements in forensic science and communications technologies, combined with standardized data collection methods, allows for a more complete, thorough, and consistent investigation. These standardized procedures assist the medical examiner or coroner in establishing consistent and appropriate cause and manner of death certification. Use of the procedures nationally helps build the database for better surveillance, analysis, and prevention of every infant death. I recall when we didn't have computers, radios, emails, digital cameras, and cell phones, or the database to help us uncover the facts. In one case about 20 years ago, I was on my own trying to figure out an infant death. I never did learn just what happened. The call came in about an infant death in a remote part of the county. It turned out to be an old trailer home. The call was from the nearest neighbor a half-mile away because the family had no phone at the trailer. The victim baby was a 4-week-old male who was being cared for by his mother's boyfriend while his mother was at work. So some time elapsed before an ambulance was called.
Who are you?
I'm Margaret Casey from the coroner's office. I'm here to investigate the death. Where's the victim?
We got things all cleaned up for you.
Yeah, we even straightened up the room. It was kind of a mess.
Well, thanks. Where's the body?
In the ambulance.
Great. Okay.
Can I see some ID, ma'am?
I'm from the coroner's office. What's going on here?
Baby's dead? I don't know. He's a loser. He's not talking. I've arrested him a few times over the last few years.
Where did it happen?
Inside. I've been watching this idiot all the time.
Have you been in there yet?
No.
All right, excuse me. Hi. I'm the county coroner.
Hi, I'm Jake Newman.
Jake, I need to ask you a
Look.
couple of
I look after this kid every day, and it's not even mine.
Okay. How did you find the baby?
I went in at noon because he's usually screaming his head off by then. But this time, I didn't hear anything. So I go over to check it out. That was it. Nothing.
All right.
I got a feeling that there's a little bit more to it than that.
What, you got a theory, Deputy Big Shot?
Excuse me, Deputy. Jake and I are going to go inside and talk about this. Jake? Jake. The ambulance crew had erased all the forensic evidence. The deputy sheriff was more interested in arresting my witness than in learning what happened. I was determined after that experience to get to know the people I might work with. Communication with your team has got to be there, or even all your experience and skill and all the high-tech tools we have today won't help. In this case, there was no independent parallel investigation, no collaboration. I never did determine the cause and manner of that baby's death. It was signed out as SIDS, but I've always had the feeling there was more to know. Today, we have a better chance to succeed with new technologies, investigative procedures like doll reenactment, and standardized data collection procedures. Okay, where? Okay, how old? I want to send Investigator Wright on this one. He's our infant death specialist. And call somebody into cover for him. He'll be gone a while.
Hey, Doc. What are you doing here on a Sunday?
Hi, Mike. No rest for the wicked, I guess. A case just came in and I want you to handle it. Apparently it's an infant death of a 6-month-old boy. The police are suspicious of the circumstances, and the story given by the family just doesn't make sense.
Okay, I'll grab my bag, my scene recreation doll, and be on my way.
Okay. Hey, if you need anything, call me on your cell or email me.
All right.
Oh, and be sure and check with Debo for the address and the cell phone of the police officer.
Okay, on my way.
Thanks.
They're okay. They've calmed down.
This was a complex, involved case.
Good. I know
The death occurred in a lower-income rental apartment district that recently has seen an influx of methamphetamine abuse that has greatly taxed the resources of the small police department.
Are they with Kendra? Yeah, they're with Kendra in the living room. Oh, here's the investigator.
Who are those other women, too? Did you?
They're friends, yeah.
Oh, are they? Okay, okay.
I'm Investigator Wright with the Medical Examiner's Office.
I'm Officer Thomas, and this paramedic's from the fire department. I'm sure glad to see you. You made good time getting here.
Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. Not much traffic early on a Sunday morning. What do we got?
There's a lot more going on here than they're saying, but I didn't find any drugs. They probably used them all. Kendra Wilson, she's the victim's mother. She lives in apartment 2. Wilson's 30 years old, no job, with 3 kids. I don't know how she does it. She has a 10-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old son, and until today, the baby, all in a 1-bedroom apartment. I think her boyfriend lives there too, but no one's willing to admit that.
What's her story?
Well, she said they were all asleep last night. She got up before the others, went down to the corner to get some diapers. She said when she got back, her son was dead in his car seat. That's where he sleeps.
Witnesses?
Well, there are a lot of people in the apartment, but no one seems to know anything.
How many people are in the apartment?
Well, let me see.
At least 3 adults, not including the mother of the deceased. There were some strange marks on the baby's face. Lividity pattern was unusual. Not so sure what that means.
Let's go inside. Introduce me to the mother.
Okay, thanks
see
a
you later.
lot.
It's critical that all agency representatives at that scene work together, because we have to be a team that's working for the same goal, and that goal is just very simply put to determine exactly what happened to that infant, what is the infant's cause of death and manner of death.
Kendra, I need to talk to you in here. Kendra, this is Investigator Wright.
Hi. I'm with the medical examiner's office. I'll be investigating. First of all, you have my sympathy in the death of your son.
Yeah, right. How long is this gonna take? I got my daughter and son to worry about. They're at the neighbors, but they can't stay there forever. You gonna call social services on me?
Miss Wilson, I need your help to determine what happened to your baby. I'm going to ask you questions about your pregnancy, the baby's medical history, as well as how he's been acting the last few days.
Oh, my baby. My baby, I can't believe it.
Who put your baby down to sleep last night?
I did. It was me. He was fine. He was fine. What does this shit matter anyway?
Then you found him this morning deceased.
I found him. I found him in his car seat. He sleeps in there. I ain't got no money for a crib yet. He sleeps real good in there. I went to the store early to get some formula. I checked on him when I got back and he was blue. Oh, my baby.
Who sleeps in the other room?
I do. My daughter, she's 10. And my other son, he's 4. And me, just me. My baby was sleeping in his car seat. Oh, my baby.
Did your boyfriend sleep here last night?
Oh, all right, he was here. Reggie was here too.
He told the officer that he wasn't here last night.
He was here. You gonna call social services on me? We all sleep here.
All of you.
Yep. Except the baby in his car seat. Oh, my baby.
I was here last night, come to think of it. I was drinking, so my memory's kind of fuzzy. I remember that kid, though. Real frisky. Even wore me out jumping on the mattress all the time. Tried jumping all the time.
The baby jumped on the mattress?
Yep. All the time.
Misty and Twanda were in the living room with the TV. I think maybe they were up all night. They was asleep when I got up this morning.
Miss Wilson, I'm going to need you to show me exactly how you put the baby down last night. Let's go into the other room. Miss Wilson, I need you to show me exactly the way you placed the baby down to sleep last night. I'm especially interested in the position of the head, nose, and mouth. Use my dial. I need to take a couple of pictures of this.
I just put him in on his back like I always do. He was right here on the edge of the bed.
That's the way you place the baby every night? Just need to get a couple of pictures. Thank you. I'm Investigator Wright from the medical examiner's office.
Well, good for you.
I need to talk to you and your daughter about what happened last night and this morning.
I don't know nothing. My girl and I were out there in the living room watching TV.
All night?
Yeah, all night.
You were never in the bedroom.
No, I was never in the bedroom. What do you take me for? And no, my girl wasn't in the bedroom neither. Kendra and Reggie now, they were in the bedroom. I told her you could end up with another one, but she don't listen. gets drunk and just don't listen. She left us out here all night while she was in the bedroom partying with Reggie. I only got one kid. Now that Kendra, she's a wild one. She's my best friend.
Who was watching the baby while Kendra and Reggie was in the bedroom?
Baby was with me, in the car seat. Here. At least until they were done and Reggie fell asleep. Then Kendra wanted the baby with her in the bedroom.
What time was that?
You think I'm wearing a watch? Late. It was late.
Any drinking last night?
She's not allowed to drink.
Did you feed the baby?
Feed him? Of course I fed him. I seem to be the only damn one around here that does feed him. Right before he went into the bedroom with Kendra. Changed his diaper, too.
Reggie, what time did you go to sleep last night?
I'm not sure. I was kind of out of it. Been drinking.
But you did sleep in the room with Kendra, her daughter, and her son.
They woke up with me. They must have been there too.
Why did you tell the police officer that you weren't even here?
You gotta understand. Kendra, she ain't allowed to have anybody living here. If I get caught living here, she loses rent. So if anybody asks, I'm just visiting. Like last night, I was just visiting.
Reggie, I know you know something else about the baby last night. I knew it from the time you told me about the baby jumping on the bed. 6-month-old babies can't jump like that, Reggie. Come on, tell me what you know.
Are you calling me a liar? Are you saying that I killed that baby?
I'm not calling you anything, Reggie. I just think you know more about what happened. It's better off that you tell me, or the police officer's gonna think you were involved. You did lie to him. Come on, let's go in the other room, and you can show me exactly what happened.
All right, I know a bit more. I woke up right after Kendra left this morning. I had to pee, so I went into the bathroom. And when I came back, I noticed that the car seat was tipped over on the floor.
Hold on. I want you to show me exactly where you found the baby. I want you to use my doll. Show me how you found the baby.
I thought maybe Kendra took the baby with her. But when I came in the room and tipped over the car seat, I found the baby and he wasn't breathing and I realized he was already dead. So I put him back in the car seat and pulled the cover over his head and then pretended like I was sleeping until she found him. She ain't ever gonna forgive me. She's not.
It's okay, Reg. It's okay. I need to take pictures of the baby exactly where you found him. Let's start from the top again. Take the doll and put it exactly the way you found it again. I need to get some shots of this.
Just like this.
Okay, let me get a shot of that. Okay, how was the baby laying?
The baby was laying face down.
All right, let me get a shot of that. What'd you do after that?
Well, I picked up the baby. And it blew and he wasn't breathing. So I knew that he was already dead. And then I put him back in his car seat like this. And I pulled the cover back over his head like that.
Okay. It's okay, Reg. You've been a big help.
It took a while for the death investigator to sort this case out. In the end, his investigation was the key element that helped me determine why that infant died. It was a difficult scene investigation, though. There were so many witnesses on the scene that initially lied to authorities because they were scared. Not because they were criminally involved with the baby's death, it turns out, but because of past experiences with the authorities, they were suspicious of our intentions. In the end, a lividity pattern that was consistent with the blanket found under the infant and interviews with Kendra Wilson's other children confirmed that Reggie Hurst was telling the truth. Initially, the death investigator was concerned about co-sleeping, possible neglect, as well as a potential criminal act. He made sure he did a thorough scene investigation to be certain he didn't miss something that would become crucial to the investigation later on. When the scene investigation and doll reenactment were completed and the interviews with the many witnesses analyzed and compared, I was able to put all the pieces together with the autopsy and toxicology results and certify this as an accidental asphyxiation. The key was an experienced investigator with the proper training and tools focusing on documentation and witness interviews, specifically documentation considered essential to the forensic pathologist for the establishment of cause and manner of death, and interviews involving the individual or individuals who placed, found, and/or last knew the infant to be alive. Success in this and all sudden unexplained infant death investigations depends on a thorough, complete, and systematic scene investigation, documentation and witness interviews, the timeliness of the investigation, the importance of communicating with other agencies, and an understanding of how technology can bring it all together. Use of standard scene data collection forms, computerized records, doll reenactment, digital cameras, cell phones.
I'm headed over to the ER.
When we apply our knowledge and skills along with the technology, we can make a difference, helping parents and families begin a new life and prevent future tragedies.
Without that death scene investigation, the true cause of child's death may never be known. So it's up to you to find the information, to be able to document that information and transfer that information to the forensic pathologist and the medical examiner and coroners.
The only way to prevent someone from dying is to know exactly why they have died, and then if it's a preventable death, to establish educational programs directed specifically at those kinds of deaths. And we can do that on a national level by establishing why each individual has died.
Probably the hardest thing to accept in all this, for me by far, is that it could have been prevented. I mean, it wasn't this rare disease. It wasn't, the classic SIDS. She rolled over, and through rebreathing her own air, they call it a lot of things. But, I mean, that's what happened in our scenario.